Well, hello, ladies, gentlemen, and non-binary special snowflakes. Welcome to my workshop. So today, what am I going to be doing today? Today I'm going to be comparing the stick welding capabilities of both of my welders that are capable of stick welding. Right in front of me off camera here, I've got my Hobart Stickmate LX. It's an AC/DC stick welder, and it's a stick welder that is just a very, very basic, very simple stick welder, which is actually pretty nice and makes it really easy to use because of that. On the other hand, to my side here, I've got my AHP AlphaTIG 200x, which is a more modern inverter-based machine that also is capable of TIG welding. In fact, that's what I bought it for, was TIG welding. And it's a bit more complicated. It's a bit more complex. It's different. It's very different. Let's take a closer look at both machines. Alright, let's hunker down here and get a good look at this Hobart Stickmate here. Right here we've got the ON/OFF switch that lets the angsty pixies in. Over here we've got the 4-position switch that tells them what kind of pixie juice to make, whether it be DC negative, DC positive, AC negative, or AC positive. Just kidding, I really know that's high amp and low amp. And down here, of course, we've got this big crankadoodle that allows us to set our amperage, or how much magic pixie juice the pixies make. Now, the thing about this, the thing you gotta be real careful about with this, because I kind of made this mistake for a long time, actually, is these different colors here correspond to these different positions on the switch. So, if, for instance, you're welding with DC, then you want to go with the gray scale on here. On the other hand, if you're welding with AC on the low amperage, you want to go with the orange scale here. And if you're welding on the high amperage, you want to go with this one here. See, what I was doing for a while is I had this set all the way back here, and I was welding with 1/8 inch 70/18s because I thought I was getting about 125 amps. But I should have been all the way down here on the crankadoodle to get closer to that 125 on DC that I need, and I should have been looking at this gauge and not that one. Just a little bit of advice there, and of course these outlets here are where the magic pixie juice comes out. So that is my Hobart Stickmate. It's an AC/DC welder, which I think means that when I'm welding, it's supposed to sound like the greatest hits of AC/DC, but I can't really tell. This is the AlphaTIG 200x. It's both a TIG welder and a stick welder, both AC and DC, so it can do a lot. It can do a lot more than the Hobart Stickmate. And if we open up this cover here, we've got all our different little knobs and thingamabobbers that control all kinds of things that I don't know a whole hell of a lot about right now. But what I do know about is, at least the things I need to know right now, this is my AC/DC switch, so for welding with 70/18s, I want to be on DC. This is the stick welding or TIG welding switch, so we want to be on stick welding. This is the knob for my main amps, and since we're welding with 70/18s, we want that right around 125-ish. Close enough. These are my starting amps. This is kind of like a hot start. I got it on 150 just to give me a little bit of a hot start. Now on the Stickmate, you had a switch that would go in between positive and negative DC. Down here, it's a little different. If I want to weld DC positive, I plug my electrode holder into the positive, and I plug my ground clamp into the negative. If I need to weld DC negative, then I'd have to switch these. So it's a little different, but it's functional. It works, it's easy, and these being standard DINS connectors are really easy to disconnect and reconnect. So that's the AlphaTIG. Alright, now that we've had a bit of a look at both machines, let's see how well they perform in stick welding. First, I'm going to use the Stickmate. Well, certainly not one of the prettiest welds I've ever done. Ouch, 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 ouch! This is the point where I switched to the AlphaTIG. I probably should have said that while I was, actually making the video out in the workshop, but I forgot to, and, well, that's what post-production is for. Alright, let's see how this one turned out. Little spattery, but not bad. Now, this weld came out a lot better. Now, I don't know what it is, but I was welding beads all morning with the Stickmate, and I thought I was doing pretty okay. I mean, I wouldn't have pointed a camera at myself if I had doubts about my work and about my skills. Granted, I'm not the greatest welder out there, and I'm not trying to make one machine look better than the other. Honestly. But here's the thing. This one here is with the AHP. This one here is with the Stickmate. I fucking hate flies. And out of the two, which one looks better to you? I know which one looks better to me. This one looks like a total noob. This one looks like somebody might know a little bit about what they're doing. And I have to admit it, I'm a lot more comfortable stick welding with this AHP machine than I am with the Stickmate. And I've been using the Stickmate for about 6 months or so, give or take. But I'm so much more comfortable with this machine than I am with this one. It feels like I'm getting a lot less spatter. It feels more comfortable. The current coming out of this thing is much more smooth. I don't stick the electrode as much. So, I don't know, I'm looking at these and, yeah, that one looks a lot better than that one. There's still a good amount of spatter here that is kind of unbecoming of a decent welder, but I'm much more confident using this machine than I am this one. That's my take on it. Which one of these machines is actually better than the other? Honestly, that depends on how you look at it. These older, traditional transformer-based machines, these things have a habit of lasting forever. Inverter-based machines tend to only last a few years, relatively speaking, from what I hear. I look at it this way: if this thing lasts I think it's 3 years, the warranty covers it for, I'm good. I didn't pay a whole lot for this machine. And when it comes to time, hopefully at least 3-4 years down the road from now, I could probably afford something a lot better. Hopefully. So I'm not too concerned about that whole inverter-based machine as opposed to transformer-based machine difference right now as far as longevity is concerned. Everything I've seen about this particular machine has been a pretty good thing. Nobody's really had much in the way of complaints about them. As I've done here, as I've shown here, I stick welding with this machine over this one. It feels like I am using two different machines, but it just feels totally different. Which is, I don't get that. It doesn't make sense to me, but it is what it is. So, hope this helped you out. Hope this learned you something. Hope this educated you a little bit. Do keep in mind, I'm not an expert. I'm just teaching myself how to weld, and figured I might as well point the camera at myself while I'm doing it. So maybe I can help other people out there, especially when it comes to making a decision as to which machine to get, which machine to use. I will say this about the Stickmate. I bought that off of Craigslist, like I said, about 6 months ago. Didn't spend a whole lot on it. I could probably put it back on Craigslist and list it for exactly what I paid for it and probably get it. The reason I say that is these machines are cheap. And by cheap, I mean, inexpensive. I don't mean they're cheaply made. They're actually pretty decent machines. And I think if you're going to learn how to weld, you're probably better off with a Stickmate like this rather than, say, the old Lincoln AC 225 buzz box. That's what my dad always used, was one of those. and they're not bad, but for a little bit more, especially for a little bit more used, you could pick up one of these, and you've got AC welding, you've got DC welding, you could run your 7018s, you could run your 6010s, 6011s, whatever, whereas with the AC 225, you're a bit more limited. All my dad ever ran on his old AC 225 was 6013s. He wouldn't even dream of running a 7018 on that thing, whereas I run 7018s on this thing all day. This machine, I could run a 7018 on it just as well, if not better. So that's all I've got. That is really all I've got. Thank you so much for watching. Love you all. Have a very, very, very wonderful day, and I will see you next time. See, here's what I really don't get. This is a weld I did off camera. This is another weld I did off camera. I forget which welder I welded these with, but it doesn't matter. One was done with one machine, one was done with the other. And these both look damn nice. I mean, these are almost perfect stack of dimes welds. I mean, look at those. Those are freaking amazing. Yeah, this over here, which is the better weld I did, this one looks like deep fried ass compared to these two. What the fuck is wrong with me? I swear, I cannot weld on camera. This is never going to be a good welding channel.